Today, I'm going to walk you through how to start a new diet without totally losing your mind or your joy. Oftentimes, we have to start a new diet. We're given a plan by a medical professional and sent on our way, but we're not really shown how to make it work in real life. And it can be heavy. I get it. I have dealt with it myself, and I've also helped my clients through this challenge in the last 25 years, many, many, many times. In fact, it's a primary part of the services I offer. I'm a nutritional chef, and I have dealt with every type of special diet you can imagine, whether it is gluten-free, dairy-free, vegetarian, vegan, carnivore, keto, whatever it is. And there's always different reasons that people want to do these diets. There is a why. And so that's what's really important to remember, your why. And I personally have dealt with this myself, and I understand how challenging it can be. As a chef, eliminating anything from my diet always felt very overwhelming. So I understand that when someone first changes the way that they eat, regardless of the reason, there can be a heavy feeling that sets in. Almost a feeling of, can I make this work? Can I do this? Or I'm not going to be able to succeed at this. And honestly, I want to help you through that. I want you to understand that it's actually sustainable and can fit within your lifestyle and can be enjoyable. So I'm going to give you my core foundations on how to make that happen. I understand that oftentimes the first time we go out to the store, or the first time we go out to a restaurant or have a social engagement, we get overwhelmed. Food used to be simple. It used to be enjoyable. Now it feels like a problem to solve. And even when you know it's the right choice, you can still feel depressed or sad about it, almost like you're losing your best friend. First, it's important to be aware of what triggers you when it comes to stress around starting a new diet. Oftentimes, these are very common and people have the same triggers. So I'm going to go over the ones that I see very often. The first one is when you restrict something, it makes you want it even more. So the second your brain tells you you can't have something, it makes it the most appealing thing on earth. Second, there is societal pressure and isolation. Oftentimes, people in our social circle aren't aware of the changes we're making, or they don't understand why we're making these changes. And then there's a lot of temptation around that. They might be bringing in donuts to work, or they might be saying, why are you eating like that? That's so silly that you're giving that up. That can make it hard. Often there is also decision fatigue. You just get tired of figuring out what you're going to eat. It's exhausting. And when you're tired or overwhelmed, you feel like giving up. Lastly, there is the fear of failure or messing up. And that is definitely real. Oftentimes when we're starting a new diet, there's a lot of uncertainty around what we should have, or what if I do this and it doesn't even help? So it gets people stuck in that cycle of starting and stopping, or just not seeing it through. So they never know if it's going to work. So let's address these challenges so they don't cause failure and they don't cause frustration. First of all, a lot of times initially people question, is this even working? Why am I doing this? And that's why it's really important to have a why. There's almost always going to be a why. In fact, there always is going to be a why on the reason that you're doing this, whether it is to reduce flare-ups of an illness, whether it is to gain energy, whether it is for weight loss, or just to feel better overall. Oftentimes our diet is going to affect how we feel. And so if you're not feeling great, changing parts of your diet are a surefire way to fix how you're feeling. So coming back to that why is so important, because those first few weeks on a special diet or a new diet, you're almost never going to see the results that you're looking for. Some people will see some improvements right away, but most of the time, no matter what the reason is, whether it's allergies, weight loss, energy, just to improve your health overall, it's not going to give you results immediately. So coming back to your why is going to be the core foundation to help you get through these challenging times. So when your diet suddenly changes, this constant new decision making can feel overwhelming. Come back to that reason of why you're doing this and what you're trying to achieve. That is going to make things so much easier as you go along. Second, you want to make sure that you have complete structure. It reduces overwhelm so much. And what I mean by that is planning ahead, keeping foods on hand, and prepping some things in advance to give you options. When you are starting a new diet, there's a lot of new things coming into play. You're having to read new labels. You're having to think about your meals a lot more. You're having to make changes in your daily life. And you don't want to be stuck scrambling. You don't want to be stuck having dinner time and you have nothing to eat, or you don't have the options in your house. So make sure that you keep easy, safe, ready to use foods on hand, especially if you're managing allergies or sensitivities. That's going to be key. But just having foods on hand that fit your new lifestyle are going to be key. So those first two things are remember your why and make sure you have the structure to reduce your overwhelm. And that is through planning, keeping foods on hand, and also prepping some things in advance. Having ready to eat meals there at your convenience is going to be a game changer. The next thing you want to do is make sure you have communicated your new diet to the people you're close with in your life, because having their support is going to be crucial. The right support in starting a new diet is going to be the key to your success. You already have a plan given to you by someone, but they're not always supporting you. They may be giving you suggestions or ideas, but having that day-to-day support, whether it's through a coach, whether it's through friends have gone through similar things, whether it's through your partner who is just there supporting you, is going to be the key to your success. Next, make sure that the foods that you're choosing are very balanced. So they are including all your macros. They have protein, they have fiber, they have healthy fats, and they have healthy carbs. If you're focusing on nutrient-dense foods, you are going to feel better regardless, and your body is going to be nourished. Oftentimes, we look at eating as having a party in our mouth, and food is not supposed to be like that. Food is nourishment. Food is fuel. So when you start eating in a new diet, you want to look at your food as fuel. So stay hydrated. Make sure you limit your caffeine, your sugar, so you're not triggering your anxiety, and focus on making your meals balanced. So if you have a support system and balanced nutrition, that is definitely going to improve your odds for success. Starting a new diet is mainly mental in the beginning. In fact, that is almost all of it, because if you have the right mindset, getting through the rest is easy. However, how we eat and how we feel are directly related. So it's really important that you are eating enough and eating enough of the right macros to make sure your mood, your energy, and your clarity is not too inhibited. Now, oftentimes when we change a new diet, things will change in our body and our brain, and that can contribute to us feeling grouchy or feeling tired. So that's why it's so important to eat regular balanced meals. Make sure you're getting enough protein, make sure you're getting enough carbs and fiber and healthy fats. Keeps your blood sugar stable, keeps your mood stable, keeps your energy and clarity up. Also stay hydrated. Even mild dehydration can increase your irritability, brain fog, and energy. And this isn't about being perfect, but just understanding that how we eat is related to our mindset. And our mindset is such an important part of having success in a new diet. When it comes to our mindset, flexibility and emotional resilience is so important when starting something new. When you treat a new diet like it's a punishment or temporary, you're not going to go all in and you're not really going to make it a permanent part of your life or a real part of your life. But when you treat it like it is going to be there forever and it's in your best interest, what happens is it becomes more manageable and even can become empowering. So practice mindful eating, check in with your hunger cues, check in with how full you feel, and notice what food makes you feel good and what food makes you feel bad. Also, be sure that you are seeking support and set expectations with others. So, if you're eating differently, you don't need to ask for permission from people, but you do need to communicate with them what you're doing. It's just going to help things go a lot smoother. And it will also let others know what you need. If your coworker brings in donuts every Friday and you are gluten free, then maybe they will think twice or they'll bring in a gluten-free one. Either way, communication is key. Also, make sure you're getting enough sleep because when you start a new diet, it truly will affect your energy. Cravings, mood swings, and fatigue often come with starting a new diet. So, understand that you will get through this and you just have to kind of baby yourself and treat yourself a little extra special. Also, remember about your why. Come back to that again and again, whether it is managing your illness, improving your condition, fighting fatigue, feeling better, losing weight, whatever it is, there is going to be a reason you're doing this. And that's what's going to keep you from quitting and staying consistent. So those three areas, structure, nourishment, and mindset, are going to be the foundation of how you get through this initially to make it aligned into your daily life. So here's what I want you to know after helping people with this for 25 years and also going through it myself. When you stop looking at starting a new diet as something temporary or something bad and looking at it as something that is going to help you reach your goals, help you expand as a person, and just help you have a better life overall, it will integrate into your life so much more seamlessly. You'll figure it out. You'll figure out what works in your kitchen, what works for your meals. You will find meals you love. You'll get faster at planning and more confident at asking what you need and speaking up for yourself. And once it becomes part of your routine, you'll stop missing what you gave up because it will just be your new life and how you feel will become the reward. And yes, you can still go out to eat. You can still travel. You can still live your life. People do it all the time with the most restrictive diets. I've seen it. It just takes a little planning, strong boundaries, and a clear understanding of why this matters to you. If you need support with this, hop on a free call with me. This is my passion. This is my wheelhouse. I love helping people transition into a healthier lifestyle. I love helping people come back to their why, or just drop your question in the comments. I'd love to hear what has come up for you, how you've been handling it, what works for you, or what you're struggling with.